Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaiya. Today I'm going to be recommending some metal albums based on your mood. Now, I've never done one of these videos before, but I've seen various movie YouTubers do them, and I thought it would be fun to try it with some metal albums. So today I'm going to be hitting you with some picks that I think would fit for various different moods. Now, obviously, it's kind of subjective because everybody feels different and listens to different things depending on how they're feeling. So hopefully you find some interesting new bands that you've never heard of and that you check out. If you are interested in purchasing any of these vinyls or CDs or what have you, or interested in streaming these albums, I will have those not only linked down below but also in the video. So yeah, let's get into the very first mood, which is inspirational and fun. This is something that you are wanting to listen to when you are obviously in need of inspiration, but just overall wanting to uplift your spirits, and maybe you're doing something creative, something artistic, and you are wanting something to put on to kind of get those creative juices flowing. So I went with Destroyer 666 and their debut album, Unchain the Wolves. This is an Australian blackened thrash metal band formed in 1994 by vocalist and guitarist KK Worslut. This band once was a solo project, but over time KK Worslut began adding musicians to kind of not only fill certain aspects of his band, but to also help with the creative process. This album features 8 tracks and a runtime of about 50 minutes. So it is a little bit on the longer side, but it is so worth it. I promise you. The very first 2 tracks on this record are absolute bangers, okay? Genesis to Genocide and Australian and Antichrist, pinched fingies. Genesis to Genocide is like a 10-minute song. I thought it was multiple songs, honestly, but it's not. On the vinyl, it is just so good, and I love it. It takes you on this listening journey, and it's awesome. You have to listen to it. So I did pick up the white vinyl for this, so I will show footage here of that vinyl and the cover and everything. If you are interested in checking that out, I will link it down below. Also, to follow the trend of inspirational and fun, I decided to pick Borknagar and their most recent February 2024 album, Fall. Borknagar is a Norwegian heavy metal band from Bergen, founded in 1995 by Øystein Garns Brunn. The band's style combines black metal and folk metal with progressive and melodic elements. Borknagar's lyrics often deal with philosophy, paganism, nature, and the cosmos. So this is quintessential progressive folk Viking metal, and I recently discovered this band and was pleasantly surprised with this album, Fall. Now, the single, honestly, that sold me on this record was Nordic Anthem, and I've talked about this band in my February 2024 releases for Metal Monthly. You should check that out. But that song sold me on this band, and that was before the record even came out. And now that the record is out, she's a banger. She's a bop, released from Century Media Records, so I really wouldn't expect anything less. But for me personally, folk metal, Viking metal can be kind of a hit or miss, because sometimes it can come across as a little too cheesy for me. But this was very serious and enlightening and just inspirational for me, and kind of gave me the same vibes like Insomnium does, but with more of that Viking flair to it, I guess you could say. The absolute strongest songs for me on this record are for sure Nordic Anthem, and I absolutely love Moon and The Wild Lingers. I highly encourage you to check out this album. Once again, it's Borknagar and their album Fall from Century Media Records. The next mood I decided to pick was good road trip music. Now it is about to be summertime, so I know a lot of people like to hop in the car, go for a ride. I know I did once the weather got warmer. And for road trips, what I'm looking for in my playlist are either songs that are easy to sing along to or easy to like hum to, good riffs, really good guitar solos is always a plus. Really, you're just looking for something that can help pass the time. So what more do you want than with High Spirits and their most recent album, Safe on the Other Side. Now, High Spirits is a hard rock heavy metal outfit from Chicago, Illinois, with song themes ranging from rocking, jubilation, and love. This is their 5th album, which came out on High Roller Records, and it features 10 songs with a runtime of about 40 minutes. And yeah, this record came out in November of 2023, so it is relatively new. And this is a banger of an album. If you have not heard of High Spirits or jumped into any of their records, I highly encourage you to do so. Like, seriously, you need to do it after this video. High Spirits is so uber good, and I first got into them with their record You Are Here, which is their 2nd album from 2014. But I have to say, Safe on the Other Side is the absolute better album in comparison to You Are Here. It's easy to listen to. There's a lot of bangers. You can sing along to it. There's a lot of group harmonies, and it really is just like good, positive fun. So I highly encourage High Spirits. It'll help pass your time. It'll help uplift your spirits, and more importantly, it's metal that you can listen to with your grandmommy in the car, with your mom in the car, with your wife in the car, and even your young kids in the car. So it's family friendly, but not in like a corny way, you know? This next band is a little more on the moody side, but I think they're absolutely worth your time, and that is Malo Carpetan. Now, this is a blackened heavy metal band from Slovakia, and I discovered this band in one of my Twitch listening parties from my mod Spoother. He played one of their songs from one of their albums, and I have to tell you, I was not prepared. None of my viewers in chat were prepared for this band. Now, Metal Archives has them under as blackened heavy metal. We kind of came to the determination that it's more like black and roll, but it's very unique in sound. It's not only riff heavy, but the instrumentation is awesome, and the production is beautiful, and it's got black metal vocals, but it's got this like twang and just groovy sound to it, and it kind of takes you on this like listening journey. I feel like this would be really fun to listen to while you're driving in the mountains or what have you. So the album is called Vertumnus Caesar, and the songs are all in Slovakian, so I can barely pronounce Vertumnus Caesar, which is also one of their songs, but it's 8 tracks coming in at 46 minutes, and it's pretty great. From Invictus Productions. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested in picking up a copy or streaming it. Like, honestly, just listen to this. It's got a couple instrumental tracks to it, and it's honestly worth your time. If you're wanting a little bit more hardcore in your road trip music, then I would check out the band Black Uniforms and their compilation record, Splatter Punks on Acid. Like I said, this is a compilation record from 2001. Black Uniforms is a Swedish heavy thrash metal hardcore punk crossover band, and I'm telling you, this is so super stinking fun. Just like Destroyer 666, there's a lot of diversity with the tracks. They play around with a lot of different dynamics here. There's some samples. There's a lot that they play around with this. It's super, super fun. And Splatterpunks on Acid is a compilation record featuring some demos and various other recordings from previous records. And it was released by Hardcore Holocaust Records. So I have the vinyl of this, and it's really fun. 14 tracks coming in at 34 minutes, and They have one other album, which I have shown on my channel in my streams, and it's called Faces of Death from 1989. So if you're interested in picking that up, I would look up this band. They literally just have that one album and a few demos and compilations. So they're split up now. They didn't have that much of a career, really. But you get this compilation record, there is like a whole photo booklet of all these just like punk, 80s punk hair pictures and the outfits and everything. It's like, it's a date to the past. So I definitely would check out Black Uniforms and Splatter Punks on Acid. It's super fun. It's got the punk vibes. It's got the heavy metal vibes. It's super, super fun and will definitely be worth your time. Now, when I think sad boy or sad girl music, I think of kind of two different vibes. The first is kind of this like depressing, sad, heartbroken sort of vibe where you're feeling very down on yourself. And then the other is kind of more of this inspirational, hopeful sadness, if that makes sense. So trying to pick bands for a kind of sad mood is a little bit tricky because I feel like everybody knows these two picks that I'm about to say. So I encourage you in the comments to let me know any other kind of like sad boy, sad music, because I have not really gone out of my way to look for that, but I am going to tell you about the two that I definitely listen to and very much enjoy. And the first is, of course, going to be Woods of Yibris and their Green album. Now, Woods of Yibris is a Canadian melodic black metal band with some emphasis of like death and doom in their music. They have lyrical themes that range from depression to Canadian pride to nature and adversity and what have you. I feel like there's a lot of songs on their albums that are very much about heartbreak and being in a relationship and stuff like that. I would say Woods of Yibris is one of those artists that that really talks about relationships and not in a corny way. It's just that's their thing. And the history of this band is quite sad, I will say, but it kind of fits the theme for how sad their discography is. So Chapter 4, the Green album. This is a full-length album from Earache Records that came out November 13th, 2009, and she's a long one. 16 tracks coming in at 1 hour and 18 minutes, but it is well worth your time. An album this long is perfect for when you are down in the dumps, you are depressed, you're maybe a little self-loathing, and you're just, in your favorite comfy clothes, curtains down, ain't talking to nobody. You're putting this album on, and it's great. I personally love it. Save it for a rainy day. And of course, I can't mention sad boy music without talking about my boys Insomnium, but where it's not so much like depressive, self-loathing sadness, this is more of like an inspirational, hopeful sadness. Now, if you're not familiar with Insomnium, they are a melodic death metal band signed with Century Media Records. They're from Finland, and they have a lot of lyrical themes that do range from loss, pain, nature, human relationships, that type of thing. The album we're going to be talking about today is their 5th album, One for Sorrow, which came out in 2011. It's 10 tracks with a running time of 53 minutes, and this album is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's perfect for any kind of mood, really. If you're feeling kind of this inspirational sadness, you could even say it's good for like a road trip on a cloudy day. You could say it's great for a rainy day, a rainy Sunday. It really is total mood, vibe music, chill music. You could do basically anything listening to this, and it would help you in some format. I mean, I love Insomnium. I listened to a lot of them in the fall of 2022 when I was like on my way to my Cannibal Corpse shows, and I was just like, you know, during Thanksgiving, I was on the road to go and visit my grandparents, and this was an album that I was listening to, as well as other Insomnium tracks. So I really, really love their sound. It's very foresty and kind of it kind of reminds me a lot of Opeth. It really does, and Woods of Ypres at the same time. So I highly encourage you to check out this album. You probably already have, though. Everybody has heard of Insomnium and Woods of Ypres. So if you have other suggestions for sad boy music of either one of those two vibes, let me know down below in the comments. Now, if you're looking for something heavy, and I'm not talking about like depressive heavy, I'm talking about leg day in the gym, baby. We're doing squats heavy, okay? Then look no further than Archgoat and their record Whore of Bethlehem. Now, this is their debut record from 2006, and it's heavy. This is a Finnish blackened death metal band with lyrical themes ranging from Satanism and anti-Christianity, blasphemy, and all of those types of lyrical themes. It's kind of like the more black metal version of Deicide in terms of like branding and lyrical vibes, but this is definitely not a like Deicide type band. This is very much a Finnish black metal band with death metal notes in it. Whore of Bethlehem is kind of a wall of sound. I ain't gonna lie. It's heavy, it's buzzy with those guitars, black metal vocals, but it's a banger, it's a bop, and this is something I would listen to leg day in the gym any day. You got 10 tracks with a running time of 35 minutes. I highly encourage you to check out Whore of Bethlehem. Now, if there's one band that has a very old school sound but is actually relatively modern, it would be Power Trip and their album Manifest Decimation. Now, I'm telling you, when I discovered that this album came out in 2013, I was absolutely shocked. I, for some reason, was convinced, based on just the sound alone of this record, that it came out in the 80s. I was like, oh, Power Trip, they're like an 80s metal band. Nope. No, ma'am. This album came out in 2013, and it is so freaking heavy in terms of riffs, in terms of the vibe. I mean, the second song alone, Heretics Folk, it's folk. Is it fork? Oh my gosh, I've thought it was folk the whole time. Heretics Fork is an absolute banger. It's got such a great groove pocket in the end, and it's stellar. Now, where Power Trip differs from Archgoat is that it's not as like dark heavy, where this is more like kind of a bright heavy, if that makes sense. So Archgoat's kind of this like dark, blackened, satanic kind of heavy. It's very dark, whereas this is very much kind of this bright sound. It's still heavy, don't get me wrong, but it's you know, more on the kind of like thrash side, which I've talked about this before, kind of has this like more positive, brighter sound, at least in my opinion. Now, Power Trip, they are from Dallas, Texas, here in the United States. They have various different lyrical themes, death, killing, politics. They're just overall fun, and I'm telling you, I literally just keep Heretics Fork like on repeat. Like, that breakdown is nasty. I listen to this in the car. I listen to it just chilling in my house. You need to listen to this band. It's great, positive, heavy kind of music. I highly encourage it. I feel like there is a severe lack of conversation for joke albums. And what I mean by joke albums is records that are recorded and released as troll records. They're literally not supposed to be taken seriously at all, and they usually come from bands that are very much a part of the extreme metal community. And the album I have recommended for you is going to be perfect if you are wanting to make your other metalhead friends laugh, if you want to just embrace a troll band and the history of this troll band. And of course, you cannot go any better than with Anal Cunt and their folk album, Picnic of Love. And yes, I did pick up the vinyl of this, which I'll show you here. Such a cute, just overall adorable vinyl gatefold. Everything about it I'm obsessed with, especially the heart photo in the back and the vinyl itself with the engraved hearts and the most perfect pink color you could ever get on a vinyl. But just like basically all of Anal Cunt's discography, Picnic of Love is no different, except it is literally not a noise core anything at all. It is a massive troll folk album, which basically features Seth Putnam on vocals doing this very, very high falsetto voice. It reminds me a lot of Charlie the Unicorn. If you remember that super OG YouTube video. La 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 la.
Enough with the singing already.
It's kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of that. It's awesome. I love this record. My boyfriend hated it, but I love this album. Everything from I Respect Your Feelings as a Woman and a Human to Saving Ourselves for Marriage, which is, I'm not gonna lie, kind of a bop. And Greed Is Something We Don't Need. These songs are, like I said, an obvious troll, but they're kind of bangers. They get stuck in your head. I was literally singing Saving Ourselves for Marriage, in my stream a few weeks ago. Saving ourselves for marriage. It's great. But the icing on the cake for this record is actually track 11, In My Heart There's a Star Named After You. Seth Putnam starts with this kind of falsetto vocal, but then as the chorus and the song kind of amps up, he gets into his normal kind of scream that he features in all of the previous Anal Cunt records. And that is ultimately just, it's so cool because it's perfect. His scream is great. And did I mention that this entire record is acoustic? It literally just features one vocalist and one guitarist. So go check out this album. Just do it for your sanity, okay? Okay. Now, before I end the video, I do want to talk about some hidden gems that I think you should know about. The first is a black metal band from Japan, and this is an album called Samurai. Now, this is a full-length album from 2022, labeled as kind of raw black metal and independently released. And what's really interesting about this band is that the person who actually recorded this album is anonymous. So they are not listed on Metal Archives at all. We have no idea who created this album. It's just there. Now, if you're wondering about this record, it is 30 minutes long with 3 tracks. 3. Now, the highlights for me on this is definitely the raw black metal sound. The vocals are very nice on this album. You can really, really hear that guitar is very, very fuzzy. Like I said, raw black metal production. So it's not the best, but it works for this, and it's very chill, and it's very, I don't know how else to describe it. It's very calming. I really, really encourage you to listen to it because I haven't really felt this kind of vibe from an album like this. And I love the artwork and I love the sound of it. And like I said, it's only 3 songs. So it's like a 30-minute long song, and it's just chill. It's perfect for when you want to just relax, you're taking it easy, you're sitting on your couch or your bed and you just don't want to think. Throw this album on and let me know what you think about it. All right, the next hidden gem is actually a band I'm obsessed with right now, and it is Detest. Now, if you have not heard of Detest, they are a death metal band from Denmark with themes of science fiction and kind of like the future. And today I wanted to talk about their 1994 debut, Dorval. Now, this is a full-length album which was released under Progress Red labels. It's got a big Milky Mama on the cover, kind of futuristic. For some reason, this album cover reminds me of Atlians by Outkast. I know that's very obscure and an odd connection, but that's just like what it reminds me of. Yeah, this came out February 13th, 1994. It features 13 tracks and is 57 minutes long, but y'all know me. I love death metal and I love old school death metal, and this is dope AF old school death metal. You know, early 90s. And honestly, this band is kind of underground. I mean, they've only had 2 albums, one from 1994 and one from 2021. And it literally, I just think that this band is like totally underrated for freaking death metal, dude. Old school death metal, please check out Dorval. I'm obsessed with it. There's groove pockets. There's the old school, like I said, old school death metal in the drums and in the vocals. And I was just falling in love with this album. I've listened to it a ton of different times, and it's futuristic. It's got some futuristic, elements to it, and it's just really fun. So I encourage you to listen to it. If you're into old school death metal and you're wanting to find an artist that's underground, check out Detest and their album Dorval. Anyway, y'all, that is going to do it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Let me know if there's any artists in this video that you didn't know and that you're excited to check out. If you have other suggestions of artists that you would listen to in any of these kind of various moods, let me know that too down below in the comments. I appreciate you being here and spending time with me today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, you guys.